Hello and welcome to our very first real episode of Made News Network. And today we'll be talking about the US tour for Band-Maid and specifically the Los Angeles show, aka MISA's birthday. So, would you like to say something?
No, I was breathing.
Can you stop? Um, so we will be asking each other questions. I think we both experienced this tour and this show very differently because SJ was back in the States in California. I was here in Japan, not even sure if I would make it to the show until probably the last month, probably in October. I was sure I was going. So it was pretty tense. But yeah, so why don't we go ahead and just get into it?
All right. So once the tour was announced
Hmm.
and we got our dates, there's a couple special dates that just we had to do stuff for. And obviously that was Miku's birthday and then Misa's in LA. So with that, you and I and the other admins from Bandmade Fans Cafe, we started a Facebook group,
Hmm.
a planning page. And from that planning page, we started kicking around ideas what we were going to do. And the obvious ones right off the bat were a cake and flowers.
Hmm.
So we started a crowdfunding for the cake and flowers. And it became very apparent very quickly that I was getting a lot of money to the point where it was going to be more than I could spend without being ludicrous as far as the cake and the flowers.
Hmm.
With that, then we started kicking around ideas. What am I going to do with this extra money? Uh, do you remember what some of the suggestions were for that?
For the money, I may have suggested that you just give it to me. I don't recall.
No, it's so the cake and flowers ended up being a little over $300 a piece, and
Hmm.
I had almost $1,000. So thank you again to everybody who donated to this.
Hmm.
It, without that help from the fans, we wouldn't have been able to do what we did with those cake and flowers. But
Oh
now I've
yeah.
got $300 more. What am I going to do with another $300? Uh, so I started looking around for other ideas. What can we do? What can we do? And I completely stumbled across the idea of rally towels. And I'm sure you have one in front of you.
Would you be talking about this?
Yes. Uh, so literally 4 miles from where I work is a place that does nothing but rally towels.
Hmm.
So I went over and met the guy and got a quote for them, and it made sense, and we could do it. So I put it out there. It's like, hey, let's do rally towels. There's a if you guys want to donate a little bit more, I hate to ask you for more money. We can get these. The more you donate, the more towels we can get. Well, boy, did the masters and princesses step up because I ended up with I went from a $300 surplus to about $900 in hand, and we ended up with 750 of those towels.
How many towels?
750, more than we could actually hand out, if
Hmm.
I'm being honest.
Hmm. Yes.
So what did we do with those towels?
Oh, I mean, we passed it out to everybody, didn't we? We started off one by one when we got to the show. Um, and by the end, we just had to place it somewhere off on the side and say, hey, can you just make sure that the guys in the back get towels? I think that's pretty much how it went, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Sorry.
750 towels.
We did have a few volunteers who went over and beyond. I don't know who all of them were, and I thank you for all of you, but I do know specifically Curtis Robles. He really just went at it. I think he may have probably handed out half the towels on his own. I
At
mean,
least, yeah.
he was a machine, so thank you for that.
Yeah, we were able to because we started this in the VIP line and we're handing them out, and again, as Peter mentioned in our introduction video, we live in a titanium bubble. We think everybody is as insane as we are when it comes to this fandom. And there are certainly plenty of insane people who are there very, very early with us. But by the time they were letting the VIPs in, there wasn't 750 people in line yet. There was a good 500 to 600, but we ended up with so many towels that we couldn't get them handed out before they started letting it in. And then the venue was kind enough to hold them for me till after the show.
Hmm. Hmm. So we did the towels, we did the cake, and for those who haven't seen it, you may have, but for those who haven't, I do actually, or I had it on hand. Let me just show you very quickly here. All right.
Obviously, you're not dealing with professionals just yet, but I promise you will get better as this goes on.
I'm a professional at not being a professional. All right, there we go. So let me just show you real quickly.
Off to him, and then he'll go wherever it goes. Oh no, my finger.
So the bases were put on the side, Band-Maid bows, and Fu homage for Misa's birthday. So yeah, that was that.
Why don't you, for those who don't know, why don't you explain that top art that you did for it? What's the basis for it?
Yeah, so I know that Misa loves like old school rock. She's a huge like 70s rock fan, 60s rock fan. So I had noticed that she a while back had bought a pair of Who Doc Martens, and she was pretty thrilled about it. I think she posted a couple of times. So it finally came to me and I figured, okay, I'll try to use this design. And the actual Misa, um, it's a Twitter fan, and I don't know the name because it's really just letters and numbers and just symbols. But he had created an image of Misa that was similar, but I wanted to sort of redo it and work it out in a way where she looked the way her new outfit is. So using his original image, I took that with permission and then re-edited it to look like the Misa. I can't say now because she got her bangs back. So, but how she looked before her bangs were cut. And that's how the cake came out. Yeah.
That looks really good. And again, for those who don't know, Peter is a Photoshop master. Any of the edits that you see on Band-Maid Fans Cafe or the header for the planning group, he does all of those. He's part of Band-Maid lore now. He did the promo pic for the uh,
Herman Lee.
help. Thank you, Herman Lee from Dragon Force, and they used it for the video. So I'd say that's a pretty good pedigree right there. So besides the cake, the flowers, and the towel, there was some amazing fan swag from the line. I think you have something framed up you showed me.
Yeah, so I was sharing a little bit earlier. Call it fate, if you will. I was about to walk my dog and I noticed a frame that was still shrink wrapped and about to be thrown away. So I thought, oh, I can use this to display my swag. So here's some of it. It's not all, but if you take a look, oh, there's a reflection. Let me put it back. So this here, or these two, are from Rick Wagner, not Wick Ragnar, Rick Wagner, who does a lot of this type of art for Band-Maid, Baby Metal, a whole bunch of other just bands and artists out there. Got a couple of these holographic little cards. SJ actually got the whole set because he switched it for a coin of his. This is the coin I'm talking about. And this is probably my favorite of the fan swag. And the reason why, it's just so hefty. I feel like I could kill someone if I threw this at them. Yeah. it's a compliment, but yeah, it's great. So this was the one that I had made. I had another set. If you look back here, all of them individually set up, the members up against the American flag, but the cost of printing each of those out was a bit much. So I went with just one image and made this one. And of course, this is the VIP, the little tag, and this is the signed little postcard given to us for the show. So yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah,
So
there's lots of good stuff out there.
yeah,
Do you have one of those? And then just as a cost efficient way, since the coins were about $5 a piece, I only made 100 of those. I took the flag side of the coin with all the members' names, and Mike Barber and we printed up 2,000 of those stickers. Again, way more than I could ever possibly hand out. And I think they made their way around the country. Some of the other big fans that were doing multiple shows, I gave them stacks of them so they could hand them out at other places. But those were also handed out in line in LA.
Yeah, if you're walking around in downtown LA, there's a good chance you'll run into into one of these stickers. Not the coins themselves, but the stickers. So, yeah. So as far as meeting each other for the first time, can I ask you, how was that? So we've known each other over 4 years now. It's been over 4 years. And in those 4 years, we met each other for the first time at the LA show. So can I ask you, how was that?
It was like getting together again. It wasn't even like a first time meeting. It was like we were friends that we hadn't seen each other for a while, and we just jumped right in. Like I said, like we'd known each other for years, went to school together. It was an instant connection. Same with a lot of the fans, but the connection that you and I have, since we've been admins for Cafe for so long, and so many interactions both on the boards in the admin group and then on the side, all of the designing of help me designing the coin, all these other interactions. It was like definitely old friends. There was nothing new about that first meeting, at least for me.
Yeah, I was very excited to finally well, I hadn't been home in 4 years. It had been 4 years since I had seen my family and my friends, and it was a mix of emotions, and it was a bit tough to choose, because the reason why I even came back home in October was to actually attend the Band-Maid show. I was excited to see them live, you know, in my hometown, but also to see a show with all of you guys. So you were there, Chester was there, Brian was there, Joseph, who I met for the first time, was there. He helped us out with the camera work when we were doing stuff outside. Seeing Michael Barber again for the first time since 2019 in winter. We watched a couple of shows together, and that's where I first met him. But yeah, I remember I was just stepping stepping out of the car. My mom I had driven, and then my mom took the car back. She called me a few times during the day because she was worried about me. But I remember I didn't know what the reaction and what the interaction would be, but it was really cool. I walked out and I was like, I know these guys. I completely know these guys. And then talking to each other, shaking hands, hugging, eating. Yeah, it was really nice. It was really, really just it was sweet. That sounds a bit, that's kind of a strange word to say, but it's really just sweet. I felt like I was yeah, like you said, reuniting with old friends, even though it was the first time. So yeah, I really appreciated it a lot.
Didn't you have an interesting first meeting with a certain Russian?
Oh yeah. So prior to the show, I had to so this was part of a gift that wasn't displayed in public, but we had gotten the latest Pixies album, CD, and Curtis Robles, the man himself who passed out like 300 towels, he had actually gone there to the record shop to get a signed signature from Paz Lenchantin as well as the rest of the members, and he was able to have her sign "Happy Birthday, Misa Misa." He had wanted Misa Misa Misa, but for some reason Paz didn't want to write that last Misa. But he had that, and I had wanted to get it before the show itself. So the day before, I met both Curtis and Vladimir in the parking lot of an In-N-Out. I was waiting there. Curtis pulled in. I get out of the car. I open the passenger door, and I see this big grin, this very big grin. And the first words I hear are, "Peter Lim, the legend." And of course, when he stood up, I was looking at him like this. But yeah, it was great. It was great because I've known Vlad for years too, just interactions online and just talking to him. And he's even, a friend on Facebook. So that was really cool to interact with him. I find him to be very entertaining and very persistent. Very persistent.
You can ask the security at the Belasco about his persistence with his recording.
Prior to the show in the line, he had come up to me and he said, "Peter Lim, you are close with the band, so we will give you all of our presents and you can go onto the stage and hand it to them." And I said, "No, no, 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 not on the stage. I will get pulled down and thrown out. No, Peter Lim, you can do it." So yeah, Vlad, I love you, man.
So just for those of you who've never been to a Band-Maid show, there's something very special about the lineup, and we're maniacs, and we get there, at 5:30 a.m. At 5:30 a.m. We've kind of nicknamed ourselves the Dawn Patrol, and just that sitting around for 14 hours, you get to meet people, you have these conversations. They're like, "Hey, aren't you SJ Nix? Hey, aren't you Peter Lim? I'm so and so," and like in my case, they know me by my nickname, and some people know me by my real name. So throughout the day, I'm being called by 4 or 5 different things, and I just answer to all of them. But the fandom is so amazing. Everybody has a great time. It's like it's Band-Maid tailgating, is what it is, really.
Yeah, there were a pretty good number of Peter Lim. Are you Peter Lim? Peter. And I was like, I don't know you. I think next time if people walk around with their names and their profile pic on Facebook, I'll know you. Because I definitely am very familiar with certain profile pictures and names. But since you guys don't put your faces on your profile pictures, I have no idea who you are. So, but yeah, no, that was great too. It was great meeting new people. And yeah, I can't say I had spent that much time. I think I was still pretty busy and tired from just having flown in a few days prior. But yeah, it was a good time. It was a good time. So how was it for you? I mean, you're very generous when it comes to trying to get people into and involved in the show. So you actually paid for my ticket, which I was blown away by. Thank you again. But you also paid for whose tickets? Is that okay to ask?
Yeah, no problem. So I bought 5 tickets initially, knowing that I would be able to help some people out who maybe missed out on VIP. So it's supposed to be me and my boss initially were going to go, and then he had this weird conflict where he was in Dallas for the LA show, but back in LA for the Dallas show, so he missed both of them. So I actually ended up with 4 spare tickets. So I told you up front I was going to buy yours. I was talking to Vlad if he was going to the LA show. He says, I don't have a ticket for the LA show. I said, well, Vlad, you have a ticket for the LA show now. So I took care of Vlad. And then I met, because I like the Gaijin guys. I watch all 4 of their videos, but I've had some interactions with Ryan Meir through Discord. And I was talking to him, and I told him if he can get to LA, I would give him a VIP ticket. So Mir made it out to LA. And then completely unexpectedly at the Nemophila show at the Whiskey, I was standing in line and I saw Alan from Dichotic and the Gaijin guys. He was walking into the show. I'm like, hey, what's up? He's like, hey, man. And Mike Barber is even more generous than I am and had bought several tables at the Nemophila show. And so we invited Alan to come hang out with us at the table and just having a couple cocktails and feel good. I told Alan in a very slurred voice that if he could get his butt to LA, I had a VIP for him. So Vlad, you, Mir, and then Alan.
Yeah, no, and I think a whole bunch of people were very happy about that. They were excited to meet you and me for the first time, but I think a lot of people were very excited to meet Ryan and Alan for the first time.
Absolutely.
Personally, please don't be offended. I don't watch reaction channels. So I had heard and seen a little bit of Ryan, a little bit of Alan. So for myself, it was just, oh, hi, nice to meet you. But I think for others, they're pretty thrilled about meeting sort of these YouTube celebrities. So I think that was really, yeah, that was a really another level of having just a good time and a good experience at a Band-Maid show. So yeah, thanks to you, man. Much appreciated.
So one of the other things we did that at least I had an absolute blast doing were the games in the line. You want to talk about the games a little bit?
So this was actually your idea. I was just there to participate and act like an idiot. But we had three levels. The first game was it named that tune or was it the trivia?
I'm not sure which one came first. I feel like it was trivia.
Yeah, it was trivia. And then the second round was name that tune. And then the third round was sort of bouncing back and forth between trivia and name that tune. So you and I started off introducing, doing a live stream on Facebook at 7 a.m. And then throughout the rest of the day, it was like 11 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 3?
Yes.
Okay. I didn't remember at that time. Yeah, so we gathered some fans just that were in line, and it was just, yeah, we had a good fun time. Just kind of going over the trivia and the songs. And this was also, I think, a moment where I realized, we are in a bubble. Not everyone knows this information that we talk about almost every single week.
Yeah, some of the questions that we felt were like, oh, these are easy questions, ended up being hard. And as you said, it's just because we exist in this world where we're in it all the time, so we're exposed to this stuff. And your normal, even what would you call a big fan may not know some of this crazy crap that we were asking. And it was a little eye-opening, but it was good. And just one last time, Jonathan Lane, congratulations on being the grand prize winner. If you don't know John, he does a lot of photography at these shows. He's actually has some amazing pictures of different shows from around the country.
Right. So if you were actually at the LA show or have seen footage of the LA show, at the end, there are 2 banners that are presented. One was a white banner with MISA playing bass, and that was the one that Jonathan Lane had brought to San Francisco and LA and had it signed by fans, and that was presented at the end. And then also, I had made a banner like last minute, probably within the last week or 2. But thankfully, I have a cousin back in LA who does prints, an amazing job. And yeah, so I asked if he could do it. He did it for free. He sent it over just like that. And yeah, both of those banners were presented. It was really cool because at the very end, Akane and MISA were wrapped up in that banner. And I realized it because the banner, it's a flag. So they were kind of wrapped up in the American flag. So that was kind of cool. Just a little something there.
Right. No,
So
it was so we've talked about all of the stuff going on the outside, all the prep for it. Let's talk a little bit about the inside, and then we can wrap this up here pretty quick.
yeah, absolutely. So we were standing next to each other.
Mhm.
I was placed between Miku and Misa, as were you.
Mhm.
But I was a little bit closer to Miku. You were a little bit closer to Misa. And I don't know, can you actually describe the experience of kind of rocking out together at the end, like
Right.
during the
So
show?
yeah, so you are my concert battle buddy. I don't know too many people that lose their effing minds the way that I do. So it's cool being being next to someone who's as nuts as I am. And one of the conversations we had before going inside, there was two songs we both wanted. We
Mm,
both wanted About Us because we wanted to cry like babies,
mm,
and we wanted Warning.
yes.
And when Warning started, I think on Vlad's video, you can see you lose your mind. I'm just off frame and I'm doing the exact same thing. And that was like a starter's pistol because we were off to the races after that. It was
Yeah.
that was probably my favorite moment of that concert when I heard the intro to Warning.
Yeah, because for those who don't know, I actually attended the very first one-man show in Japan, the pre-okyu-ji, in the US. So I was at Osaka for their first, like, full-on show, and they had played Warning at that show. And what's unfortunate is that in Japan, at concerts, you still can't sing, you can't shout, you can't do anything. I mean, really, like, it's this, and it's
I
um
don't have that. I don't have that ability. There's just no way.
so it killed me to hear that song and hear all these amazing songs, and not to be able to react to it the way that I want to. So at LA, I think one of the reasons I think I went extra batshit crazy is not just that you were there and that everyone that I had, been around or known over the years online were there, but that I could actually express and voice it out. And so,
Mhm.
oh man, I really wish I had not only slept like 3 hours that night and that I were at full power. But oh, when that song did start, and I mean, even Play, Freedom, I mean, all the songs, really,
Mhm.
it's just there is nothing like letting loose and not giving a shit about anything and anyone but the music in the moment. Yeah, and no, absolutely. Like, as I was doing this, I could see this shiny head just doing the same thing.
You're not the only person who's mentioned the shiny head. That's how people are like, oh, I saw you in I know where you were in the crowd because I saw your head. Uh, but it just because COVID screwed up Budokan. I was supposed to go to Budokan.
Yeah.
COVID shut that down. That's how I ended up with a Flappy Pigeon.
Mm,
Uh, but to hear the Unseen World stuff, it's massive on the CD, but it's an order of magnitude bigger
yeah.
live. And
Yeah.
Warning's a top 5 song for me across the entire catalog. So
I agree.
to hear that intro music come for the first time, it was eh, that that few seconds is one of my favorite moments in any Band-Maid show that I've been to. Absolutely.
Yeah. It's funny because that as the opening track on Unseen World and hearing it, and for the very first time, it's like, oh, what is this? And then it goes into the album and it just doesn't stop from there. But live, I mean, you hear those little twinkling notes,
Hmm.
and you're like, holy shit, it's about to go fucking crazy. And that's exactly what we did. I mean, it was amazing. I mean, the whole
Yeah.
show, really.
I know their road manager shot video the entire tour. He shot a ton at
Mm,
LA,
yeah.
shot a did some real special interviews. We'll talk another time in Dallas with some of us that were there for that.
Mm.
I just hope they do something with that, because there's got to be some absolute just amazing video from both the crowd, from the photo pit,
Right.
from him shooting behind the drum kit, and just shooting the band. He was very, very active throughout this entire tour. I just hope they do something with all that footage.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, we didn't mention, like, during Miku's Omachi nighttime, I mean, the towel was going up for MISA and her just being overwhelmed by that. For people who don't know, I mean, in the beginning, MISA was known as a very sort of a stoic, I don't care about anything, I don't want to be here. She probably still doesn't want to be in front of the camera, but she's now come to be known as one of the most sentimental and emotional members. And yeah, it was great to see her just absolutely loving and drinking up all the love that she was getting from the crowd. So it was amazing, amazing show. The tour itself, I really wish I could have gone to more shows. But when you only have 9 days and family and friends and work,
Yeah,
yeah, it's tough. But we should wrap up. This was fun,
it
and
was.
we are going to do this again.
I just want to say thank you to everybody who watched. I'm sure that there's some pretty rough patches in here, and there'll be some rough patches as we move forward, as we figure out this format and how we want to do this, what does and doesn't work. But I can tell you that both Peter and I are having fun doing this. So as long as it's still fun, we'll keep doing it and try to make it more entertaining for you as well.
Hopefully,
Yeah.
hopefully. Okay, well, it is 10 o'clock my time, and it is what?
6 a.m. here in LA.
And do you have work today?
As soon as we're done doing this, I'm going to put on a work shirt instead of this, and then I'm out the door.
There you go. So that is our signal to sign off. Thank you again. We have been Made News Network. We are bringing you the latest in Band-Maid news. Anything else?
Like the video, subscribe to the channel, join Band-Maid Fans Cafe on Facebook. That's where you can get your news the quickest. Come here for the long form videos. We'll take suggestions if there's something that you would like us to look into. We're probably already aware of it, but we're always happy to hear what you have to say. And if it's something good, we'll try to make a video for you. Thank you.
Sounds good. Okay, Masters and Princesses. Goodbye.
Mata ne.